This is Jake Pazicki with an ACT Science Conflicting Viewpoints question. Now, this question is asking us to take a hypothetical situation in which a large lumber corporation plants a large pine forest on a previously treeless marsh. So, pine forest on a treeless marsh. Basically, this large lumber corporation is a foresting, and we're asked which of the following would best summarize what each scientist would expect to see after a few years of tree growth. So it's important to remember that you have to look at both scientist one's perspective and scientist two's perspective and make sure that the answer you choose reflects accurately both of their perspectives. Even if it gets one right but the other one wrong, the answer choice is wrong. So just be careful. So let's go through each answer choice here. The first one says scientist one would expect an increase in biodiversity in the marsh. Scientist two would expect a decrease in biodiversity in the marsh. So if we look in scientist one's answer, it doesn't say anything about biodiversity if we keep reading through it, but it does say that there's lots of here it goes. There are many benefits. There are many benefits to planting new trees in environments where they were previously barren. So we're not going to throw out that answer choice because it seems like that would be a benefit. So maybe that could be there. Scientist two would expect a decrease in biodiversity in the marsh. Absolutely. We actually see that scientist two says that there would be a decrease in biodiversity. So that one's definitely right. Scientist one, this first part could be right. So we're going to leave it up here for now. So answer choice two, scientist one would expect a decrease in biodiversity in the marsh. This answer choice, that's not right, because not only does it not say anything about biodiversity in scientist one's perspective, but it also implies that there's benefits to afforestation, and so it doesn't talk about any of the negative side effects. So that scientist one's perspective here stated is wrong, and also so is the statement about scientist two, because it's obviously scientist two would expect a decrease in biodiversity. So this answer choice is wrong. It's choice C. Scientist one would expect an increase in soil retention and in the absorption of atmospheric carbon. So for reading about where scientist one talks about that, it says, okay, so there are many benefits, including the prevention of soil erosion and an increased absorption of atmospheric carbon. So yes, there is a prevention of soil erosion. So soil retention is the same thing. So retaining soil is the same as not losing soil. And an increased absorption of atmospheric carbon. So that is explicitly stated for scientist one's perspective. Scientist two would expect an increase in the number of shade plants. We actually see that scientist two says that they would expect a loss of shade plants because of the unnatural way that these companies plant these trees close together. So that is actually, that statement about scientist two's perspective is wrong, making this whole answer choice wrong. Answer choice D has the same statement for scientist one, which is accurate, as we saw explicitly here. And scientist two would expect a decrease of stream health and a loss of biodiversity. So decreasing biodiversity, and is the same thing about stream health. We see that for when they're planting pine forests. So where is it saying pine? Yep. So for example, pine trees. Their needles have acidic qualities that lead to the pollution of local rivers and kill nearby plants and microorganisms. Okay, so yes, so a decrease in stream health and a loss of biodiversity, that is in agreement with scientist two's perspective. So now we're just between answer choice one and answer choice two, A and D. Answer choice A has something that could be right but not explicit, and answer choice D has both explicitly correct answers. So we're going to go with answer choice D as our correct answer.